My name's Jane Kilcher, and I'm working with Emily Rydell on her dredge up in Nome. I love being on the dredge, and we're getting gold. I'll definitely have gold fever.
The rugged wilderness of Alaska doesn't care who you are. It breaks the strong and buries the weak. Jane Kilcher built a life out here, but behind the cameras, something else was breaking. A personal storm she never chose, and one that's left fans asking how much one woman can take. This isn't just a survival story. This is more than reality TV. It's what happens when the wilderness outside mirrors the one inside. Before the heartbreak and headlines, before the cameras captured her every move, Jane Kilcher was just a girl shaped by the land she called home. To understand the depth of her strength, we have to go back to where it all began, deep in the heart of Alaska. Forged in the Alaskan wild, Jane's roots and resilience. Jane Kilcher, born Christina. Jane Kilcher is a true daughter of Alaska, hailing from Homer, a coastal town nestled not far from the legendary Kilcher homestead. Her formative years were not spent in typical childhood pursuits, but rather immersed in the demanding, often brutal, world of commercial fishing. This was a life she vividly described as being surrounded by storms and men, an environment that played a big role in shaping who she became. This period was more than just a job. It was a profound apprenticeship in self-reliance, a masterclass in navigating unpredictable conditions, and a deep immersion in the raw realities of resource acquisition. The constant struggle against the elements and the sheer physical demands of the sea instilled in her an exceptional level of grit and practical competence. This background laid the groundwork for her remarkable ability to thrive in harsh, unpredictable environments, preparing her uniquely for the rigorous demands of homesteading. Jane's journey to becoming part of the Kilcher family, known for their self-reliant lifestyle in Alaska, began with a shared love for music. This passion brought her close to Atsley Kilcher, and they got married in 2006. After that, Jane made a big life change, leaving behind her work on commercial fishing boats to take on the tough, off-the-grid life at the Kilcher homestead. The Kilcher family's legacy began in the 1940s, when Swiss immigrants Yule and Ruth Kilcher established their 620-acre homestead near Homer. They carved out a life without modern amenities, subsisting entirely on what they could farm, hunt, and fish from the land. This deep-rooted heritage of rugged independence and a profound connection to nature became Jane's new reality, a challenge she met with her already formidable spirit. Upon joining the homestead, Jane's extensive and hard-won knowledge of the sea immediately proved invaluable to the Kilcher family's subsistence way of life. While the show often focuses on hunting and farming, Jane brought something special to the table: her expert fishing skills. Every summer, she took on the important job of catching enough fish to feed her family through Alaska's long, brutal winters. From massive halibut to silver, king, and red salmon, plus cod and trout, Jane's hard work made sure the Kilchers had what they needed to survive. Jane's role wasn't just helpful, it was essential. In a place as tough as Alaska, surviving takes many different skills, and Jane's talent for fishing was a key part of the family's survival. Her ability to catch enough food each year made her a vital part of the team. Jane didn't just support the Kilcher homestead, she helped hold it together. But survival wasn't the only challenge Jane faced. As life on the homestead unfolded in front of millions of viewers, a new kind of pressure emerged. The strain of living, loving, and raising a family under the constant gaze of the camera. Love, life, and the lens. The Kilcher family's public journey. The world first truly met Jane Kilcher and her extended family through the Discovery Channel series Alaska: The Last Frontier. Premiering in December 2011, The show quickly became a global phenomenon, captivating millions with its raw and unfiltered portrayal of the Kilcher family's off-grid existence near Homer, Alaska. The series chronicled 4 generations of the family, offering a unique window into their daily struggles and triumphs as they navigated a challenging environment without modern amenities, relying instead on traditional methods of farming, hunting, and fishing for their survival. The show connected with people not just because of the survival skills, but because it showed the power of self-reliance, family, and the human spirit against the forces of nature. It painted a tough but inspiring picture of life in the wild where every day brought new challenges, and strength came from working together and never giving up. At the heart of this captivating narrative were Jane and Lee Kilcher, who quickly emerged as fan favorites. Their relationship, rooted in their shared love for music, became a big part of the show. Fans got to see them take on all kinds of tough homestead projects together, like building a smokehouse from scratch, braving the waters to fish for king salmon, or even hunting octopus. They often faced harsh weather and risky situations, but they did it side by side. Jane's quick wit and steady strength made their teamwork feel real and relatable. Despite the show's intimate portrayal of family life, Jane and Lee made a deliberate and unwavering decision to keep their children out of the spotlight. This choice was a conscious effort to shield their privacy from the potential criticisms and negativity of internet trolls, ensuring their children could grow up without the constant, often harsh, scrutiny that comes with reality television fame. While their children were, by all accounts, a major and integral part of their daily lives, their conspicuous absence from the show created an unusual contrast for viewers. The Kilchers made it clear that their kids' well-being came first, even if it meant leaving parts of their story off-camera. They understood how tough public life can be, especially for children, and chose to protect their privacy. But even with all their care and caution, life in the wild has its own way of testing limits. Just when things seemed steady, a sudden tragedy struck, one that would shake the entire Kilcher homestead and change everything. The fall, a catastrophe that shook the homestead. In June 2015, disaster struck the Kilcher family in a way no one saw coming. Lee Kilcher, known for his strength and adventurous spirit, was out on a hike with a friend near Otter Cove in Kachemak Bay. But what started as a simple trip turned into a nightmare. Around 6 a.m., in the still, quiet hours of the morning, he fell off a cliff. The news hit the homestead like a thunderclap. Shocking, sudden, and terrifying. In the unforgiving Alaskan wilderness, one misstep can change everything in an instant. The severity of his injuries necessitated an immediate medical evacuation via LifeMed helicopter, as the pain made transportation by boat simply impossible. This harrowing event was later documented in Season 5, Episode 10 of Alaska: The Last Frontier, aptly titled The Fall, which aired on December 6, 2015. Lee's injuries were severe, and the news hit hard. In the middle of the night, Jane got a phone call that she described as one no wife should ever get. Her heart sank as she heard the words that would change everything. It was the kind of moment that freezes time and fills the air with fear. She later shared the extensive list of his injuries, a litany of brokenness: a broken arm, a broken shoulder, a broken ankle, a broken hip, crushed ribs, and 2 punctured lungs. Lee himself recounted the horrifying moment, remembering the fall, his inability to move, and the chilling realization that he was in trouble after stepping into an unseen abyss. The sheer scale of these injuries made it unequivocally clear that his path to recovery would be arduous and protracted. The immediate emotional toll on Jane was immense. She openly articulated the raw, visceral pain of witnessing a loved one suffer so deeply. It's really hard if you're a mom or married to somebody. Like, you care more about the other people, like, I wish it was me and not him. So it's just really devastating. And it's hard to know somebody's hurt, and they might die or something. It's just terrible. This definitely changes everything. Jane's emotional reaction showed just how heavy the burden was on her, not just as a wife, but as the one trying to keep the family strong in a time of crisis. Atsley's fall wasn't just a physical disaster for him, it shook the entire Kilcher homestead. Suddenly, their off-grid way of life met its limits. The need for an emergency medevac revealed that they couldn't rely only on themselves this time. With Atsley incapacitated by his severe injuries, the relentless demands of the homestead did not pause. The critical work of preparing for the harsh Alaskan winters and maintaining daily operations fell heavily upon Jane's shoulders. She was compelled to double her efforts in her husband's absence, taking on significantly increased responsibilities to ensure the family's survival and the homestead's continued functioning. This included her vital role in providing fish for the long winters, a task she often undertook alone on the vast open seas. Beyond fishing, she was observed engaging in crucial tasks such as hunting to secure food and meticulously managing the daily activities on the farm, including the demanding care of animals. A particularly striking example of her expanding capabilities and profound resilience occurred when she delivered her first calf alone, a task typically handled by more experienced family members like Otto Kilcher, who was also recovering from his own surgery. Jane's assumption of these new critical homestead tasks proved her strength, adaptability, and vital role far beyond fishing. Atsley's recovery from his catastrophic fall was, as Jane described, a challenging and long road. He endured extensive physical therapy, working diligently with medical professionals to regain his strength and mobility. He openly shared his progress on social media, expressing profound gratitude to be alive and back home with his family. He noted that his broken bones were healing nicely, considering the severity of his injuries, and that he felt stronger with each passing day. His physical therapy regimen was intensive and multifaceted, initially focusing on crucial pain relief, reducing inflammation, and promoting tissue healing. As his condition improved, the focus shifted to restoring his strength, balance, endurance, and full range of motion. Despite the slow recovery, he stayed determined, expressing his hope to one day return to his adventurous ways. In his words, he was looking forward to running and jumping from trees and mountaintops again someday. The entire Kilcher family rallied around Atsley and Jane during this immensely difficult period, demonstrating the powerful bonds that underpin their self-sufficient lifestyle. Family members, including Otto, Ats Sr., Ivan, Shane, and Nikos, immediately sprang into action, participating in the critical rescue mission after his fall. Their collective efforts were indispensable in preparing for the harsh Alaskan winter and managing the homestead while Atsley slowly recovered. This crisis, while tragic, inadvertently showcased the strength of their familial and community ties as a primary survival mechanism. It reinforced the idea that their ability to thrive in the wilderness is not solely dependent on individual prowess, but on a robust network of mutual support, where each member's contribution is vital and shared burdens are lightened by collective action. Jane publicly acknowledged the outpouring of support, expressing the family's appreciation for everyone's good thoughts at this challenging time. Beyond the camera's gaze, legal battles and public scrutiny, The Kilcher family's life, while seemingly idyllic and remote, was not immune to the complexities and controversies of the outside world, particularly those amplified by the lens of reality television. In September 2014, long before Lee's devastating hiking accident, he and Jane were caught up in a controversial bear hunting incident that resulted in major legal trouble. They were accused of using a helicopter to hunt black bear, a method strictly prohibited under Alaska law. The incident, which was filmed for an episode of Alaska: The Last Frontier, titled Fall Bear Fall, resulted in charges not only against Jane and Lee, but also against the production company, Wilma TV Incorporated. The Kilchers maintained their innocence and pleaded not guilty, and the charges against them were eventually dismissed. However, Wilma TV pleaded guilty to an amended charge and was fined $17,500 for the violation. Jane and Lee agreed to testify against Wilma TV if needed, with their lawyer making it clear a black bear was never taken. He also hinted at something deeper, that what happens on reality TV isn't always real, and producers often push for drama. The bear hunting controversy pulled back the curtain on the blurred lines between entertainment and truth, exposing the legal and ethical challenges of filming in wild, protected places like Alaska. Though the bear hunting case eventually faded, just a few years later, following his near-fatal hiking accident, Lee became involved in another legal battle. He took legal action, attempting to sue Otter Cove Resort for $100,000 in 2017. His claim alleged negligence on the part of the resort for failing to adequately warn him about the precipitous cliff from which he fell. The resort, in response, denied any liability, asserting that Lee's injuries were a result of his own negligence. So far, no new updates have been shared about the final outcome of Lee's lawsuit, leaving the result uncertain. Still, his decision to take legal action shows a practical side, seeking justice and compensation in a way that contrasts with the tough, self-reliant image seen on the show. Beyond the physical dangers and legal battles, Jane Kilcher faced another tough challenge: constant online criticism and internet trolls. She has spoken openly about the harsh things people have said about her and her family. Much of the criticisms were deeply personal, even targeting their choice to keep their children off the show, a decision made to protect their kids' privacy. Despite all the negativity, Jane showed incredible strength. She never let the cruel comments break her spirit. Instead, she stayed true to herself and kept sharing her story, even the hard parts. Many viewers have come to admire her honesty and bravery. This online hate added another heavy burden to Jane's life. It turned personal struggles into something public and exposed. But the biggest heartbreak was still to come. One that wouldn't just challenge her strength, but completely reshape her world. The unraveling, a marriage's end, and a new beginning. In July 2023, a deeply personal and significant turning point unfolded in Jane Kilcher's life, one that profoundly impacted her identity and future path. She publicly announced the end of her 17-year marriage to Lee Kilcher. This news shocked their fans and followers, who had witnessed their relationship evolve over a decade on Alaska: The Last Frontier. Jane revealed on Facebook that Lee was the one who initiated the divorce, sharing her raw emotions with a public statement. Lee is divorcing me, and it is very unfortunate, but I cannot control it. Lost my best friend and it hurts, but I guess that is life. It won't stop me. After nearly 20 years together and a strong partnership both on and off screen, the separation was a deep and painful loss for Jane. It was a personal heartbreak that hit her at the very core of her life. Following this profound personal shift, Jane articulated her intentions to make drastic changes in her life, signaling a clear focus on self-discovery and redefining her path forward. As of 2025, she is noted to be single, actively taking time for herself to regroup, reflect, and determine her next steps. Her public statements, though concise on specific details, powerfully conveyed a deep sense of sadness and vulnerability, yet simultaneously projected a quiet, unyielding determination to move forward. She continues to embody a spirit of risk, resilience, and reinvention, demonstrating her capacity to adapt and grow even in the face of profound personal upheaval. The public nature of Jane and Atz Lee's lives, meticulously documented on Alaska: The Last Frontier, meant that their separation unfolded under an extra layer of public interest and, perhaps, a bit of added pressure. While the show often portrayed an idealized, tight-knit family bond, the realities of personal relationships, like any other, are subject to change, strain, and challenges, even without the added burden of constant public scrutiny. Jane and Atz Lee's public divorce, after years of being a key part of Alaska: The Last Frontier, shows how fragile relationships can become under the constant pressure of reality TV. It also raises a big question. How real is reality TV really? Even the strongest-looking relationships can struggle and break under the weight of public attention and private changes. The Enduring Frontier: Jane's Path Forward. After over a decade of captivating audiences, Alaska: The Last Frontier concluded its run in November 2022, marking the end of an era for both the Kilcher family and their dedicated viewers. The show had become more than just a television series. It was a way of life for the Kilchers, and a cherished window into a unique world for millions of fans. And its abrupt disappearance sparked numerous questions about the reasons behind its conclusion. This conclusion, while not a personal tragedy in the same vein as an accident or divorce, represented a significant shift in the Kilcher family's public presence and a form of loss for their loyal fanbase. It brought about a reevaluation of their identity beyond the show. Despite the show's end, the Kilcher family's fundamental commitment to their self-sufficient lifestyle on the homestead endures, proving that their way of life extends far beyond the cameras. Even without the constant presence of film crews, Jane Kilcher remains deeply rooted in her Alaskan life and her passions. She continues to actively engage in commercial fishing, a skill honed from her youth, often sharing updates on her adventures through social media. This steadfast dedication to her core activities showcases her authentic connection to the wilderness, a bond that transcends the demands and narratives of reality television. It shows that her identity is intrinsically tied to the Alaskan landscape and the self-sufficient lifestyle, rather than being solely defined by her public persona. Her strength, wit, and resilience, traits that made her a fan favorite from the very beginning, continue to define her as she navigates life on her own terms, demonstrating an unwavering spirit that is truly her own. Jane's journey through personal struggles, legal battles, a painful accident, and a heartbreaking divorce shows her quiet strength and ability to thrive in one of the harshest places on Earth. Do you think the reality show ever showed the full weight of Jane Kilcher's struggles? Or was the real heartbreak happening off-camera? Leave your answers in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.